Okay, well, hello. Welcome to Radioactiva, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you? Nice to be here.
Uh, Fine, thank you. I actually just a few weeks ago, I saw you perform at Mad Cool.
Oh, wow. You were there?
Yeah, I was in Madrid just for the festival, and I've never had the chance of watching the editors play before. So it was like I can't miss it because I've been listening to you guys since the back room.
Wow.
It was like, wow, okay, it's first time, and it's been what, 20 years since the band started?
Yeah, about that. Yeah. You came to a good one. Mad Cool was great. That was a good night. I mean, Madrid's a great city, and that festival's pretty enormous now. So yeah, it's about 20 years since the band formed. I think the back room, uh, was 2005 or something. But yeah, we were starting in 2002.
How do you think the band has changed from the sound from the back room to this upcoming record, the EBM?
um, I mean, over the years, we've embraced change and evolutions and things like that. We've after our second record, we started to experiment with kind of keyboards and synthesizers, and that balance between rock music and kind of electronic music and using computers is something that we've been playing with for years. We've found we find lots to do with those things. So I mean, also over the years, things have changed slightly. Our first three records, Chris was our guitarist, and he left after the third, and Justin Elliott joined. We made three records with them. And now our seventh album, we have someone else join the band, Ben, who is Blank Mass. So yeah, there's been kind of like structural changes and also musical evolutions as well. They kind of go hand in hand, to be honest. You make music with different people, you make different decisions. Being in a band is a compromise. You listen to each other, and yeah. But we've always embraced kind of change and never been too scared to take our audience on a journey with us.
Okay. Well, has the musical experimentation using keyboards and all change the focus when it comes to writing a song, coming from songs again from the beginning, Munich and Lights, which were hits here in Colombia, to songs from the upcoming record like Kiss or Vibe? They sound different. It is a different record. Now Ben is a part officially of the band, but I was wondering if it doesn't change the focus when it comes to writing the lyrics for the songs. Now you have different elements.
I think every record is different. I remember when we made, so we came to the end of an end as a start, and I remember like thinking, well, how are we going to do things differently? And Chris, our guitarist at the time, was really kind of fed up with what he was doing on the guitar. So we made a conscious decision to write songs on keyboards and on synthesizers. So that very basic thing of not writing a song on an acoustic guitar, on a keyboard, a different stimulus takes you in a different direction. So that, I think never being afraid of different instrumentation, embracing it does lead, because it leads you to different places creatively and artistically. With this new record specifically, things are very different again, because not all of them, most of these songs started with Ben's kind of chord progressions. So instead of me starting the song, it came from somebody else. So that was immediately very different. So my job was more kind of getting these musical pieces and trying to structure them and add lyrics and use my voice in a way that felt kind of suitable for the music, and doing it that way brought a different side out of me. I could be more playful. A lot of the songs on this new album are kind of very over the top with what I'm doing, layering the voice and using different sounds and different kind of processing. And I was just kind of having fun, really, I guess, but also trying to do what suited the music. And then, obviously at the same time, you're trying to make a song that speaks to me and will speak to the band and ideally speak to the audience as well. So, but every record's different, like in Dream, we took ourselves away and produced it ourselves. So in doing that, it was a different kind of process. We work with different people. So I think, it's a long answer. You could go on a long time.
Nah, don't worry. It's okay. I'm glad to hear it because, of course, since I've been listening to the band for quite a while, it's something you sort of admire when you decide to take a risk. And the previous record, Violence, which I really like, it's different from EBM. So and I love Violence. So it was like, wow, they're taking a big leap this time. It sounds different. Of course, it's still the band, but I'm intrigued in how you release the greatest hits record and it starts now a different era for the editor. So it's good to listen to all that story.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean, with Violence, we did some work with Ben, and then we worked with a producer called Leo Abraham. So it kind of then got a bit more refined and a bit more delicate, you know. Yeah, there was moments on that record that were kind of confrontational, but I think there was more subtleties across the record. This record is vivid and kind of like big blocks of color and violent blocks of color in your ears. It's less subtlety, you know.
Okay. Yeah. Something funny, I noticed that EBM and Violence has only 9 tracks. Is there a reason why both records have 9 tracks? Actually, they're quite long songs too, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really remember. I mean, with Violence, I think we were trying to make a record that, you know, of course, that felt cohesive. With this record, you're right, the songs are very long, but it's going back to what I said with the songs being so kind of, there's only one down moment on EBM. The rest of it is really quite in your face and exhausting in some ways, you know? So it felt like if we made this record any longer, you just have to turn it off, you know, because it's just, when we started writing this record together, not to make an album, we wanted to make songs with Ben that we were going to play for people at a concert. We've been asked to do a concert at a festival in Belgium, and we were going to reimagine old Editors songs in a techno kind of electronic way for one night only. And in that process of setting up for that show, Ben suggested, "Oh, would you fancy trying to do something new?" And I'm sure, okay. I hear a couple of ideas of his, and I'm completely blown away by what he sent me. And then, you know, those songs developed into songs that are on this record, but also from that point on, then the pandemic hit and the concert never happened, you know. So but the thought process of, okay, well, new songs for people to hear at a festival for the first time, they have to be immediate, they have to be kind of visceral, vivid, and you know, it's never normally a good idea to present songs in that environment, but we were kind of trying to rise to that challenge. But then the concert never happened.
Oh.
But we got a record, so
yeah.
swings around about.
I just listened to the record like this morning. I tried listening yesterday, I just couldn't. But I've been listening to the record through the morning, and I don't know, I might be wrong, but still, when I went through the whole thing, in my mind, it felt like 2 moments, like 2 parts, like side A and side B. Being side A more the indie rock kind of thing, the first single, and the second with songs like Kiss, Vibe, and Strawberry. It feels like some sort of an evolution of on the record itself, like a narrative maybe, I don't know, but I wanted to ask you about that. You think a lot which song goes after which one. How did it work for EBM?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's also it's collaborative, you know. So there's now 6 of us in the band, and we also have a very strong and close relationship with our management. There's 2 people, so there are 8 opinions, strong opinions about, you know, what order things should go in. So sometimes, you know, this conversation goes round and round and round and round and round. Always from the beginning, Heart Attack was going to start the record. That was a this is the first song on the record, this is how we start, off we go. And then to be honest, I think Strange Intimacy was always going to be this kind of like I don't know, over the top theatrical techno outro, you know. It's like once you've had this moment, there can't be anything after it. So then everything in the middle, we have 8 different opinions about what's going to go where. So it's a trial and error. And I think sequencing silence kind of in the middle as that kind of respite from the kind of, like I say, kind of full on nature of the rest of the album. But other than that, man, it was just trying to please everybody. It's never easy. Yeah. But yeah, sometimes albums have an overarching kind of, maybe narrative is too strong for our band, but there's a, you know, we know early on how this thing's going to play out. But this one was just we were making this record in lockdown, away from each other for most of it. It was the strangest, album to make that we've ever, unlike any other record we've ever made. So yeah, try not to overanalyze it and get too precious about things was important, because we didn't really know it was ever going to get finished anyway.
Writing on the pandemic, during the pandemic, did it had an effect on you lyrically?
I mean, only I think Silence, the track in the middle, is a song about waking up out of kind of lockdowns, I guess, and seeing people that you've not seen before. And also a friend of mine lost somebody during lockdown, and they couldn't go and say goodbye properly, and that kind of rubbed off in that song too. So there's a real kind of melancholic yearning for seeing people again in that song. I think outside of that song, most of the album is more kind of about escaping that kind of, and like as a distraction or an elevation to like block out the noise of I guess the pandemic, but also there's a healthy frustration at the world we're living in a lot of these songs as well. So kind of and the anger that's there is pointed at, I don't know, post-Brexit Britain, I guess.
Okay, well, it's great to hear all these stories around the record. Looking forward to the moment it's released. You guys, as far as I recall, you haven't played Latin America, have you?
No.
It's gonna happen. Are you gonna bring the records down south?
I hope so, man. I don't have, the reasons. It's complicated to why we haven't got there yet, and I'm sorry. But if you ask any of the band, the one regret of the last 20 years is that we haven't managed to make it happen. And I hope we can sort that out with this record. That's all I can say. So I hope we can.
Yeah, I know it never depends really on the band, but it's been 20 years.
Oh man, yeah, I know. Well, to start, I think if we'd have managed to sort it out on the first couple of records, but then, you have kids, we get, we're not young anymore, and things just get boring and complicated. And I know that isn't what people want to hear, but yeah, that's kind of part of it as well. So, but like I said, there are no definite decisions have been made. So I really hope we can sort something out, and with this set of songs, come and see you guys. Yeah.
Well, looking forward to it. Perfect. Thank you very much. Well,
thank you, ma'am.
Once again, thank you for your time, and have a very nice day.
You too, buddy. Cheers. Nice to speak to you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.